Hey, what's up guys? Tyler here with Secureteam. I've got a lot of interesting things to show you guys today, and we'll get to the main topic of the video as well, but first, I just wanted to take a quick moment to discuss a very interesting story that came from, sadly, the recently deceased lead singer of the rock band Linkin Park, Chester Bennington, who, if you guys don't know the band or know who he was found deceased recently at his own hand. And yeah, I mean, just right off the bat, I'm extremely saddened by this because Linkin Park was one of my favorite bands growing up back in the early 2000s, late 90s. When I was in high school, I used to listen to their stuff, really powerful stuff that really helped you get through troubles in your life. And so, yeah, it's extremely sad that he's no longer with us. And a few days after he passed, it came to light that he had actually had his own very interesting UFO sighting that he spoke about in an interview for Kiss FM in Los Angeles, where he describes seeing a UFO and communicating the fact that of all of the sort of strange things he's seen in life in the skies, this one was completely not only just undeniable, but unexplainable. It could not be rationalized by anything at least he could come up with. And so I'll show you a clip from that interview here in memory of Mr. Bennington, and we'll talk more in just a second.
See on the interview, that is 100% true.
100, like 1,000,000%.
Son of a gun.
It is the only time I've seen something that I could not logically put a reasonable explanation together for what I just seen.
It's the craziest thing I've ever heard. I've heard some pretty wild UFO stories, and that's got to be right up there with the best of them.
It makes me feel weird just like remembering, like I vividly remember exactly what I saw, and I still get the same creepy kind of like, that can't be man-made.
That the only time you've had that experience, that one time? Or
I mean, I've seen some other things that I could probably put together as like, that easily could have been a plane or like a military, operation going on.
But
it is
legit.
Arizona. I mean, it's,
oh my God.
There's a bunch of those secret bases that everybody knows about around there.
51.
Yeah. So, but this one was just too bizarre.
I just wanted to feature this again, sort of as a memorial to Chester, who I was a personal fan of, and what better way to do that than to feature his very own UFO sighting testimony in his memory. So, on to some other very interesting stories. Here is a new piece of UFO footage out of Brownsville, Texas, where the source who emailed it to me said that they witnessed two triangular formations of lights moving through the sky that were being followed by what appeared to them to be military aircraft. And coincidentally enough, this occurred in Brownsville, Texas, which is home to the widely known space company SpaceX. So go ahead and check this out.
I don't know what they are, bro, but that's fucking weird as hell.
You're gonna get famous on Facebook.
Nah, the fucking FBI's gonna come get my phone and shit. What the fuck is it?
Okay, so definitely some anomalous activity happening in the skies over Brownsville. Again, it was pointed out by the source that to him, this looked like a possible test or something that was just being followed or escorted by a few military jets or helicopters that are sort of hovering around the outside. And one thing he said was that these triangular formations, they never broke formation. Now, they may have turned and their perspective may have changed, but they never lost their shape. And his first thoughts were, well, could this be some sort of secret test having to do with SpaceX, seeing as the launch facility is just right down the road from where this occurred. Now, SpaceX, by the way, is basically now leading in the space exploration renaissance. And it's been said through the grapevine that they're also working on some very secretive things as well. Although, of course, that can't be confirmed. But one thing I have learned about all of these space agencies and companies is that when you're dealing with space and you have billions and trillions of dollars at your disposal, they have all been found at one time or another, either through video footage or photographs or leaked whistleblower testimony, to be working on secretive things, whether that be spacecraft, spy satellites, and in some instances, back-engineered alien tech, wherein which they've utilized recovered alien technology and built it in to these man-made vehicles, like the infamous TR-3B, which is said to be a direct descendant of alien technology. So yeah, if anybody over Brownsville, Texas saw this, shoot me an email if you have any other footage, of course, and we will see what more we can find, but I wouldn't put it past SpaceX to be testing out some pretty gnarly stuff. So now on to the main topic of today's video, as well as a new interview that I've just secured that is coming up, and we'll talk more at the end of the video, but first, what appears to be yet another massive entrance discovered sitting in the middle of a barren wasteland of ice in Antarctica is once again raising questions about the mysterious continent and the things happening below it. There's been a lot of talk about secret bases, but what we do know is there's something strange going on. There's something hidden that we're not being told, and it surrounds Antarctica. So here we are on Google Earth, and we are zooming down. It's in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing around it, and here we are. And so the viewer discovered what appeared to her as an entrance of some sort, which looked eerily similar to the other two entrances that we have found hidden away in the icy continent, which I'll show you here in a minute. But here we are up close, and I want you to immediately notice the perfect oval shape to this thing. Some would say in the shape of a saucer, but again, that's just an observation. So we're zooming in further where we can definitely see that this is a hole. This thing goes down deep, and if you look at the curvatures inside, it looks as if you can go into it at a curve, and then it looks like it curves back underneath, as opposed to just a hole going straight down in a straight line. This thing curves back under the ice. And, you know, from everyone I've shown this to, it looks like an excavated entrance. As in, someone dug this out. It looks too clean, too perfect and smooth in shape. And again, like I said earlier, is almost identical in shape to the other oval or saucer-shaped holes that we've discovered in Antarctica. And I'll show you those here, and you've probably seen these before, but nonetheless, they are extremely intriguing. And I think it shows direct evidence that validates all of this talk of secret hidden underground bases. So here we are at the first one, and this one is probably the most anomalous to me because this entrance features what looks to be a large steel door that can be seen sitting above it. It almost looks like a turtle shell, but you can notice here how smooth it is with the surrounding light and snow reflecting off of it, and it's also the exact same shape as the hole itself. And again, is in the middle of nowhere in the side of a mountain. So let's go to the next entrance, which is found just down the way, so they very well could be connected. And here we are at the third entrance, which again looks almost laser cut out of the ice and rock into this saucer or bell shape, very similar to the other entrances we've found. And now a third entrance discovered, once again raising questions about just what it is that is going on in Antarctica. Why the secrecy? Why so many high-profile visits from these popes and religious figures and heads of state from every major world government? And finally, what lies beneath this ice? It's one of the biggest questions in this research, and one that unfortunately still plagues us today. So yeah, I wanted to show you guys this. Check it out for yourself. Let me know what you think. And before we go today, I wanted to give you guys a heads up that within the next week or two, I'm going to be holding an interview with none other than Mr. Bart Sibrel, who, if you don't know, is a well-known and highly controversial film director and researcher, and is probably the #1 spokesman or poster child for the Apollo moon hoax theory. which claims that man has never walked on the moon, and that all of the Apollo missions up through the 60s and 70s did not happen, but were in fact staged and filmed in a Hollywood studio. Many of you probably know Mr. Sibrel from his film, which is entitled A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon, which he released in 2001, and you can actually find it here on YouTube, that goes into the moon hoax theory and goes on to show this alleged evidence of tampering and fakery that would prove that we've never been to the moon. And so he's a very controversial figure, and so I wanted to get Bart on and talk to him nearly 20 years after the release of his film and hear his thoughts today after all of these years, whether his views have changed, and if so, why, and if not, which I don't believe they have, what does he believe truly happened behind the Apollo moon landings? So it's sure to be a very interesting interview. Again, he will be on in a week or so. He is at the moment sick, so he didn't want to have to come on and be coughing every other 5 minutes. So we're going to set it up from a week or two from now, and I will post updates as to when that will be up. So look out for that. Continue watching, subscribe, and share. I really appreciate it. And stay tuned. I've got a lot more coming, and I'll see you all back here in just a bit. Stay safe, guys.